How the hell did this happen? How the hell did Finchinator get tier leader? How the hell did me, this bozo with the Harry Styles avatar, become the most powerful person in all of Smogon's competitive Pokemon universe? What happened here? This video is going to be a bit different, guys. We're going to be going through my whole history in competitive Pokemon, dating back to the days when I started all the way back in 2011. It's going to be a bit of a history lesson, so buckle up, grab your popcorn. This is probably going to be a bit of a longer video, but we're going to be going into everything I've done, all the intricacies, the whole journey. There's been a lot of stuff. It's been so fun. I've grown not only as a person, but also as a player, community member, a contributor, all these things. And it's part of why I'm here today and what I'm doing in this channel. And I figured it'd be great to give you guys this whole rundown. So the story starts, in a sense, in 2019, because that's when I got tier leader, and that's the focus of this video. But let's work our way all the way back. Let's start from day one, all the way in 2011. There was this thing called Pokemon Online, which I'm currently on. As you see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 players. There are 11 players on this right now, so you can't probably see everything fully. But basically, Pokemon Online was a downloadable, basically version of Pokemon Showdown that predated it. It was where competitive battles happened from mid 2010 to through 2013, 2014. And Pokemon Online not only was a program, but also Smogon had their battles, their tournaments, their own server there, which had a big ladder. Back then, ladder was mad active. And basically what happened was Pokemon Online also decided to have a bit of a splinter community. They had their own tiering, they had their own server. In fact, that server for a number of years was more active than the Smogon server, where Smogon was like the hub for competitive Pokemon and tournaments and whatnot. Pokemon Online was starting to become a really big community, and it was almost, I don't want to say it was a threat to Smogon, but it was noteworthy. And I happened to go from this 12-year-old noob who just started and was completely a shitposter for years to one of the more prominent members of that community. Let's break that down. So basically, I was Finchinator, but I joined this clan called IMP Imperial, I believe they called it. And I was just one of the big ladder dudes. I was always obnoxious and a rager on the ladder. This was back when everyone was on the ladder. There are tournament players like Blunder nowadays, Gary the Gengar, a whole slew of dudes started on the ladder. I mean, BKC was a ladder player back then. Solwyn went on by Alt Selby 42 and used a ladder during that time. I mean, you name it, there were dozens of people that are still around nowadays, although some have disappeared over the years, that were really big ladderers back then. Back then, Great Astrid was the big ladder player before he blew up on Smogon and then eventually kind of phased out. And it was crazy. I mean, it was a completely different culture. Not as much mattered. I had no contributions. I mean, I was just a shithead that got banned on Pokemon Online a couple times for raging on the ladder. And then over the years, I eventually started to like this community on the forums, so I started playing tournaments. They had their own SPL called Pokemon Online Championship League, and I went 3-2 in the first one before I got banned in the last week of it. It was crazy. I was like, oh no, I can't help my team. I got banned. It was just damn it. I was a shithead on those the stuff. It's basically the equivalent of getting locked on PS. So yeah, I was one of those dudes. That was me. And then over the years, I became one of their contributors, and then I eventually became the OU tier leader there. I mean, we can go all the way through, let's say, XY. I believe this was, 2014. So this is after being on PO for a couple years now. This is in November of 2014. Prior to this, I actually did get involved in Smogon starting in 2013. I was a substitute on Team Metro for World Cup, which is basically a combination of, it's basically Northeast adopted Metro and then some lost other parts of the South in World Cup. But basically what happened was I just rose to prominence alongside Metalgross, a co-OU cheerleader who's still a player on Smogon and a friend of mine. For those of you who don't know him, he plays RBY a lot nowadays. But yeah, I mean, this is just an example. I posted the Metagross, the Greninja suspect thread, and we banned it on Pokemon Online. We actually banned a lot of Pokemon before Smogon did. We kind of jumped the gun and really had some advanced tiering. It was pretty cool, and this is where it all got started. I was a TL on another community, which is kind of funny, honestly. I was also a tournament director there, among other things. But yeah, so I mean, I grinded out for years. I went from complete shithead, evolved into decent user, into pretty damn good user, into person that was one of the most prominent figures. And ironically enough, my arc on Smogon is kind of similar. Anyway, so in 2014, eventually I rose to prominence on Smogon in tournaments, at least somewhat. It started off really slowly. So after 2013, I subbed on Metro. I didn't even get a gameplay. I was just on the bench. I was really quiet. They used IRC back then before Discord and Skype. Discord didn't exist at this point in time. That's how you know. I mean, this is June 20th of 2014, so this is quite literally 6 years ago. It is the 6-year anniversary of my first official tournament win, guys. Let's pull up that replay. Why the hell not? I'm facing Snow Crystal, for those who don't know. And yeah, I mean, this is back when, like, it was Dio Sharp metagame. I was using Deoxys Defense. Assault vs. Azumarill was the shit. Thundurus was super common. This is Uras or you. They had Mega Mawile. I mean, like, holy crap. And yeah, I mean, I won this game. This is my first ever game and my first ever win in official. This was pretty cool. I led Metacham. And I think I just high jump kicked the shit out of this Deoxys Speed. Left it a Sash. Yeah, and I just killed this with Jet. Yeah, and you see Assault vs. Azumarill just tanks this with ease. The Life Orb Volt Switch did 55 for my Thundurus. And yeah, I mean, ultimately I was able to win this game. That crit sucked, but yeah, I didn't really have any ways of losing this matchup. I just was always a mon ahead during this game, so yeah. Scarf Tower was super clutch as well, and I was just able to preserve a win with Aegislash because it was Shadow Sneak with King Shield. Yeah, so I just couldn't get, like, crit by, like, some weird band in Miachan. He wasn't that, so yeah, I was fine. Anyway, that was lit. And then eventually 2014 World Cup we lost because Central was just a complete do-nothing team. I mean, we had, like, me, Case Victory, Tashi Melonhead, Zebriken, Living So Zambian, I think we might have had. No, that was the next year we got him. Yeah, we were just a complete grassroots, like, redo because Central basically lost everyone because eligibility rules were lax, and Asia tried to form a super team to counteract, like, Team Northeast, East, which was, like, the big team at the time, and a team that now I'm kind of a part of. But back then, I said I was born in Oklahoma just to get on Team Central so I could get an official game in. And that's what happened. And I ended up going 2-1, and that was like the start of it all. And then I made Smogon Tour 18 playoffs. That's right. This is over 5 years ago. It was my first ever official tournament playoffs. And I got McMegan in the first round. And let me tell you, McMegan is one of the best players of all time. He's definitely like number 1 or number 2 in my eyes. And it was a 3-game set. He won DPP. As you see here, it was a really close game. I actually could have won if I wanted to be a tie, but that was fine. I went black-white. He had a decent shot, but he kind of misplayed around my Skarmory, and that taunt Skarmory just beat him down. I'm just going to close some of these tabs real quick so I don't fucking lag out. Yeah, let me close Pokemon Online too. But yeah, so that happened, and then I was 1-1, and we got to Game 3, which was XY, which supposedly people thought was my best generation, but I was always better at black-white than I was XY. Still to this day, I'm much better at black-white than Aura, so I've gotten a lot better at Aura recently. And let's go to turn 20. Yeah, I was winning the game. I had him pretty much beat. My Gengar did major work. His Gliscor was useless. My Kun was able to beat this. His Venusaur was, not able to beat me, despite having a decent match, but I was kind of worried about him by Venusaur. Yeah, and it worked well. He actually predicted that really nicely. But now I get to this point where I'm like, okay, if I hit this Cruncher Stone Edge, I think it was just Crunchier, then I'm able to beat this no matter what. And then there's no way he could win with Venusaur and Heatran against this Latios, which had Surf, Psyshock, etc. And this was a weakened Tran, and this was, Venusaur, yeah. And I also had Gengar in the back, and even Suicune. Yeah, if I just hit this turn, I win the game. But if I don't, then he could potentially win the game with Life Orb Thundurus because it's quicker than everything left. And he got the full para. And you know what? Yeah, it sucked, but this turn right here, it humbled me so much. It made me realize that there are so many amazing players out there, and I could be one of them if I let myself get the opportunity. So instead of showing the same level of rage and anger that I showed on the ladder for all these years, and kind of hurt my rep among like some of the tournament circle in a way, I was like, you know what? It's fine. I want to get picked in SPL, which is Smogon Premier Leagues, a big tournament that I'll allude to many times after this if you guys are new to the whole discussion of like these big tournaments. So I'm just going to lay it cool and say, hey, it's fine, good game. The people in the chat saying it was very disappointing. I said, good game, good luck and reminder. And yeah, he was able to win with the Thundurus ultimately. He almost timed out, actually. It's kind of funny. But yeah, so he ended up winning the series. And he ended up losing, though, in one of the following rounds. He lost to Masterclass in the next round. And then Masterclass made all with the finals, but lost to Tsung. This is the start of Tsung's story as one of like the top players at the time. But that's for another video, if even. And then anyway, I got picked in SPL. SPL 6, all the way back. It started in 2014, but the weeks were early in 2015. So this is like early 2015. And I was picked on the Evergrande Bigs, managed by Funkasaurus and Harsha. Funk is still one of my best friends today. He was on the in my battle the other day. He put that in the battle chat. He's a really nice dude. I still talk to him all the time. Black, white mind like myself. But yeah, more importantly, McMegan was on my team. And this guy kind of was a mentor to me. He told me, hey, you show a lot of potential as like a contributor and stuff. I'd love to see you like posting around. And talks like that. And other people being like positive to me and just sharing their, their wisdom with me. That's what really got me going. That's what built Finchinator, what I am now. And you know what? stuff like that, it goes a long way. And that's why I try to put these videos out there. And that's why I try to inform you guys. And that's why I'm doing everything I possibly can to make a difference. So yeah, it was SPL 6. I went for 6.5K to the bigs. I was just seeing it as like a black, white, / aura substitute player. But the second I got picked, even though I was on vacation in real life, like the week after the draft, I was going ham every day on IRC on my phone, because it still predates Discord, making sure I could help with teams, every single tier. I even learned never used, because we had Vile Man and Tricking on our team. And those both made the finals in the open, but neither had any official experience. So seeing as Vile Man was on vacation early in the season, Tricking started week 1, and unfortunately for him, he struggled. He struggled and he lost. So then we took a vote who to start in week 2, just among my team basically. And everyone said that they should put me in, because I was like really trying hard to get every tier prepared, and they thought I was capable. And I won against Meeps, a great friend of mine, in my first ever SPL game. It was amazing after all those years of trying to get an SPL, because I did try to get an SPL the year prior, and I almost made it on the Cryonicles, but ultimately they went a different direction in the regular season of players that combined to go 0-4, and then they picked Hickory at midseason, who was an amazing player at the time, and Hickory bossed it up, of course, and the Chronicles ended up making finals. But yeah, I didn't make it in SPL, which kind of sucked. But finally I made it, and I won in NU of all tiers here. I wasn't even known for, but that actually started a long history of contributing to NU to the point that I'm actually NU tier leader now. So, holy shit. It was funny because my manager, Harsha, was like, does Torterra have Earthquakes? I was using Torterra in the game. It's funny, and it's just my first game. As soon as the Buffalo's lefties got revealed as that CB, yeah, we were just making fun of my manager. But it's funny, it's my first game. And I mean, if you look at the next page, hold up, it's going to take a second to load. Oh, damn, there was this image posted, like, after all these years, it was like a Photoshop that was funny. And yeah, no, my first ever SPL win. It was amazing. I was so happy. After all those years, it finally came into play. And then I ended up going 4-4 that SPL, and we made it to the playoffs, but got really unlucky. That was the most close-knit team I've ever been on besides Northeast World Cup, though. I love that SPL. Even if we didn't win, it was amazing. Shout out to people like McMegan, who's now the post here. And then all of a sudden, I was starting to become part of the Smogon tournament culture, but then something crazy happened. And it didn't really involve me, but it helped me feel like I was part of this whole like crazy Smogon tournament energy. The Blue Style incident happened, which honestly is worth an own video. And maybe I'll go to like Smogon history videos. Let me know if you want videos on like historic Smogon events and tournaments and like culture, because I could do like a whole series on that. That would be kind of fire, honestly. So let me know if you like that in the comments. Yeah, leave a comment if you like that. But anyway, so OST Gate, if you will, it's called. Basically, Blue made an alt, because Blue was like this admin at the time. And we saw Blue right before. He was the host of Smogon Tour 18. But Blue was like one of the top players of all time at the time. He won. I guess she won a Smogon, a Frontier. She made it really far in Smogon Tour. She even set the record for most points in the regular season. She went for 40K in an SPL, for Christ's sake. She was one of the GOATs at the time, and she was the tournament director, in charge of OU, etc., team rating stuff. You know the drill, everything. Blue was to Smogon then as a contributor that I'm to Smogon now. One of the like the top players that also is like super involved as a contributor. But I'm probably a bit more like personal. I probably interact with people more, because she did have some communication difficulties at the time, I was told. I wasn't really around back then to say. It was just people saying gripes about her as a contributor after the fact. But the fact that it matters is that she was like the shit. She was like number one in the community. But at the time, everyone thought Blue was a male. It doesn't really matter. I don't care what your gender is. I'm just here to play Pokemon. But Blue made an alt because Blue was tired of Blue. And that Blue alt proceeded to like use Blue's power to rig matchups and find out the opponents of teams in this whole thing. And it just undermined and ruined the whole official Smogon tournament, which is the biggest OU tournament of the year. So you had to reset the entire bracket. There's this whole investigation. Again, I can't do this justice in this video alone, but during this time, I suddenly like became accustomed to like the whole Smogon culture. I witnessed all this happening in front of my eyes. I felt like I was living it through it with the guys. I was in all the Skype chats that all the people were talking about it. Day after day after day after day. I remember I was in high school at the time, for Christ's sake. Just like, holy shit, all this amazing drama. This is so cool. I feel like I'm up to speed. And you know what? I really was. I feel like I was finally one of the boys, you know, one of the guys in the core of the tournament community. It was like after 3+ years of like just struggling to break out in 2015, I was like, oh crap, I'm in. Anyway, that came and went. White Queen ended up winning the bracket reset. And then US Central, we gained a couple people like Improbable, Donut, Living So Zambian, and all these guys at the time didn't really have much official experience under their belts. Honestly, Living So Zambian had an SPL, but Improbable Donut had none. And we, despite being ranked like one of the last like 3 teams, managed to claw into World Cup playoffs as the 17th. We're actually like the first in a win for like 2/3 of the round. Then at the end, we kind of slipped a little bit. And we played Spain, who's considered probably the 2nd or 3rd best team in the tournament. And we almost tie broke, and we would have tie broke if not for this, my game against Light Chew, who's an SPL player. He's a solid player. So I'm bringing a Keldeo team. This is like 2015, so Mew was good. Spikes weren't as prominent, although he used him anyway. Dragon was cool. Turn 1 right off the bat. I lead Hidden Power Fire, Life Orb, Gladius, something I'd never used now, but this is, again, 5 years ago. He leads Keldeo, and I Hidden Power Fire into the Ferrothorn. I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to win my fucking first playoff game. Hell yeah, let's go. I get that, and then I Hidden Power Fire again just to make sure I kill it. Yup. I'm like, okay, I'm up 6-5. It's looking great. He goes Drill, because this is just after Drill is freed. He doubled out to the Politoed and Landorus T. Great play there by the opponent, but let's just switch sides. I just go for U-turn here. That reveals he's offensive, given that damage. So I just go Keldeo, and I'm able to tank 2 of those pretty comfortably. He goes for another, and I think I just go for the Hydro Pump here, predicting him maybe to go to like the Gyarados there. Either way, it was actually doing just as much as Sacred Sword pretty much, so it was fine. It wasn't killing. Now I go to Latios, now I can tank 2 of these with ease, and thankfully he doesn't crit either of them. He doesn't crit that one, I mean, so I could just chill up here. I think I just roost. Now he goes for Iron Head, and I just take it out with Surf, and I'm like, wow, this Latios looks great. The Keldeo's not Scarf, if it's probably going to be Scarf Drill. He goes Politoed, but I'm like, okay, it's Scarf Politoed, that's fine. I just throw away the Tran. He actually reveals to be Specs, which is cool. I guess he was trying to bluff Scarf. I don't know, actually. That makes no sense. Because that was Specs damage given the Keldeo damage, so... Maybe I was scared like I don't know, but it's fine. It's 2015. I'm sure I made bad plays back then. I was so much worse player back then. Anyway, I go Tar, and I'm still in a really, really good position at this point. Maybe I just didn't want to die to Life Orb after a couple hits. Yeah, that might have been it. And I get my rocks up. He goes to Hydreigon. I go to Mew, predicting a Focus Blast. And yeah, because they all ran that back then. And he took Life Orb. That's fine with me. And now I go Keldeo, just trying to fire that off because I wanted to see Mew alive for the Gyarados. Because I was physically defensive with Wisp. Now I just go to my Latios here to try and take this out. And I connect with Draco Meteor, that's great. I'm like, okay, how does Finch lose this game? The Politoed's not dead. He just wins, right? He scalds, and Gyarados comes in here, and I go for the crunch. And yeah, he's Moxie, and I do 51% there. Okay, so how does Finch lose? He goes Waterfall, he kills, okay. Still, I have a physically defensive Mew and a faster Scarf Landorus T. So I have to A, miss Stone Edge, and then B, even at +3, Mew is able to stomach it and get off an Ice Beam, which kills it after Sand. And then Keldeo isn't going to be Scarf if he's Scarf on the Drill. So, therefore, Latios would have been able to win the game. Life Orb would kill me, but ultimately I'd win first. So I need to just not get... I just need to not miss Stone Edge and get Flinch. I need one of those two not to happen. So, the game is like north of 97% for me to win the game, pretty much. And then I miss Stone Edge, of course, and... He goes for Dragon Dance, yeah, which is the play because it's banks on the miss. And then he kills me with Waterfall, of course. Yeah, it's dry plot. Now I go to my Mew. I'm like, okay, please, just don't fucking flinch me. Just don't fucking flinch me. Please. And he flinches, and I die. And the Gyarados wins the game. And this was actually the first game in the set. And we came back. We actually took a lead at a point, but we did lose 6-4. And I just can't think what would have been. I would have brought in this amazing underdog team all the way to the semifinals, or at least a tiebreak against Spain, a team that M Dragon, Destiny Unknown, who was great at the time, Malekith, who's amazing, Lechu, who's a good player himself, Riku in peak form, and Oras, Solwind, who's one of the best players of all time. It just would have been amazing, but unfortunately, we just didn't have it in us that season. I think we probably weren't favored to win tiebreak anyway. I would have had to pick Black-White against Solwind, and that would have been a hard game. But yeah, so that didn't go our way. And that was like that year I experienced my first series of disappointments between SPL and then this. And I'm like, damn. As entitled as I am to play on this big stage, it also sucks to lose. I want to get better, so I lose less. So I spent a couple of years flirting with mediocrity. Actually, in SPL 7, while the bigs were a lot worse, I ended up going 6-3. I played Black-White the whole season. Besides the last game, I went 6-2 in Black-White. Then I played a game in NU. I started off 3-0. I beat Luck over Skill. That's just Peachy, Marth, great players. Then I lost to Solwind, who's another amazing player again. I lost to Lefties. He kind of got really lucky there. And then I beat Peachy again. This time I got lucky. And then I beat Eve Wealth with an Infernape. And since we were already out, I beat Aureus with a Durant. Unfortunately, replays were down that week. But yeah, it was a cool SPL. And then I played Teta and NU a week where we were already long out, so I wanted to switch up the lineup, and I lost there. So I finished 6-3. But that was like my first big performance. I was positive on the sheet. Ultimately, that was like the first big positive run I had on the sheet. And nowadays, I'm 54 and 30 and 43 on the sheet, which is plus 11, which is still pretty damn good. Top 18 overall, and I'm right knocking on M Dragon's door. So really exciting there. Hopefully, I could get into the top 10 later this year with World Cup and Smogon Snake Draft. We'll have to keep our eyes open for that. Anyway, at this point, I'm trying to win maybe another spot on tour, trying to contribute to the forums, trying to, make it far in team tournaments and my teams. But while I'm contributing, I end up getting OU Council. I knew I was going to be really active in Gen 7, despite not being great at Gen 6 OU. I posted sometimes no OU forum. So I got OU Council. TDK was the tier leader at the time, and after Am and McMagan stepped down, and Tasung stepped down, Blunder, Crashing Boom Bang, and I got Council at the time. I was pretty close with both of them. I'm no longer close with CBB, but Blunder's a bro. I really love Blunder. Great YouTuber. Definitely check him out if you don't already. Thunder Blunder 777, the GOAT agency, But anyway, I had a little bio. Hey, I'm Finchinator, been playing since 2011. PO ladder kid to try hard, Smogon tournament player. Yeah, over the years, I adopted the mantra of being a try hard because in team tournaments, I went out of my way to make sure everyone was prepared. I was kind of a little motherly figure in a sense. That's what they called me in World Cup. But yeah, I made sure to go out of my way to help everyone. And that kind of grind that I put in, it gave me a really good reputation as someone that was a hard worker, someone that knew what they were doing. It was great. Yeah, I said I had a background in OU. And I was looking forward to that. And we're looking forward to rounding out Oras and preparing for Sun and Moon. And soon enough, I was the one posting quick bans. This is the ban of Zygarde Complete to Ubers. Yeah, Power Construct is now banned to Ubers, Zygarde Complete. 261 likes. I was like, holy shit, it's lit. I'm the king of likes now. And I unironically am now, but at this point I wasn't quite yet. But yeah, so I made this post. This is my first big act as an OU councilman. I wasn't quite tier leader yet, but it was nice. And then the next year, 2017, wasn't super eventful though. Besides that stuff, I guess. SPL8 came and went. I went 5-5, half in Black White, half in SMOU. I got pretty unlucky in SM, honestly, but that's fine. My Bigs made the playoffs as the 2 seed, but we were actually worse than both the Scooters and the Raiders. And we got the Scooters the 3 seed in the first round, and they beat us clean. But meanwhile, the Scooters in the finals played the Tigers, Mazar's team. And Mazar was someone who got the assistance of this bot that one of his friends in the Ubers community made, Akaki, I believe they call him. And the bot basically dug up replays that weren't automatically hidden. And there's no way to automatically hidden room. You have to type hidden room at this time. This is before the ENX command was made. So basically, what happened was this bot was used to find all the teams, and then Mazar basically blatantly counter-teamed all his opponents, so he won all his Ubers games. Plus, he gave tips to his teammates without directly revealing it. So the Tigers basically cheated to win SPL over the Raiders, the 1 seed. They were the 4 seed, so they beat the 1 seed. The Raiders had the best SPL regular season of all time, probably by a long shot. That year, they were the most amazing team, and they lost this unfair cheating, and then the Scooters lost this unfair cheating. You can't recreate a whole team tournament when you find out literally 6 months later, which, again, this is an October post. SPL starts in January, so, yeah, by then, the tournament ends in March or early April. So, yeah, really unfortunate. Mazar was permanently team banned from the team tour banned, forum banned, etc. The Tigers trophy was nullified. I mean, a team tournament being nullified like this, I've never seen anything like it before. We hopefully never will again. But this was just such a heinous act of cheating, and it was something I needed to highlight because, again, it was like the Blue Stallions, and it was just wow. I'm really part of this culture. I'm witnessing history in front of my eyes. It was kind of one of those awakening moments. Holy shit, this such large-scale shit's happening, and fuck you, Mazar. Especially if you're watching this, man. You're an asshole for this shit. This ruined so much hard work by so many people. I'm not saying my Bigs deserve to win because, we were the 3rd best team in the tournament, but we were not as good as the Scooters or Raiders. They should have been able to battle it out in that point, and your cheating prevented that from happening, a final that all of us deserve to see. Anyway, so things came, and eventually I was a big enough contributor that I got to host things like Black and White Cup, starting in 2017, then I hosted again in 2018, again in 2019, and now again in 2020. I just finished hosting. So that's 4 years of Black White Cup hosting. I'm pretty proud, all things considered. I actually made it far in a couple of them as well. I made it to semifinals this year. But yeah, then Smogon Snake Draft became a thing, which is basically like SPL, but the draft is a snake instead of an auction, and all the tiers are in modern generation. I played OU in the first edition of it. I went 6-3. Here's my first ever battle for Smogon Snake Draft in SMOU back in September of 2017. At this point, I was still a freaking sophomore in college. I remember, right before this, I met PDC in real life because this is his first year. He went to the same school as me. We were actually really close in real life. We actually watched the draft together in person. He didn't play the tournament. He joined my team chat. But yeah, my boy Donut and my great friend Zeb, or Jake, still a friend of both of them, picked me and got FLCL round 1, me round 2. So I went round 2. At this point, the fact that I was going round 2 just shows I already made a name for myself. It was a pretty big presence. I mean, I was retained in SPL years prior, so I didn't know how much I'd go, but going second round to Snake was really prestigious. It kind of humbled me at the time. Although the last 2 years I went 6th and then 4th overall, and I've went over 20 or over 20K the last couple years of SPL, so I guess that shows. Anyway, this game was my first ever game against OU, a great player, but I used Stone Edge, Mega Pinzer, and I faced a Zapdos. It was for Torner Zapdos. It was really great, and this team worked out. This is a team I probably wouldn't ever use again today. It's so old and specific to a metagame and a player, but yeah, it was really cool that I got to showcase that, and I ended up winning this game 6-0. I predicted the Flare Cannon there, yeah, and after that damage, I knew it was offensive, so I stayed in and I got the roll, which is just, good playing. Don't get me wrong, but yeah. So ultimately, oh, by the way, at some point over the last year and 2 years, Discord became a thing in late 2015 or 2016, and tournaments took place on there instead of IRC and stuff. And I go Coco here, and he's revealed himself to be Shift Gear with leftovers, but he can't really kill me, so I just go for Thunderbolt. I have my own a Shift Gear, Assault Vest, sorry, Maguna to counter it with Iron Head anyway. In case he was Calm Mind as well. But yeah, he has Leech Seed, Venusaur. You could just tell this was from ages ago. But yeah, ultimately I reveal Iron Head, which is great against him. It wins the 1v1, as you can see, because Assault Vest is just so bulky. He's got Mew, which is interesting. Makes nice plays, but yeah, I can't really lose this game. I get a crit there, which helped too. But yeah, just playing around things nicely. And this does 1,000,000 damage, as you can see. And I get Pinzer, and I go return there. Yeah, there's just no way I lose this game from here. Yeah, he just can't beat this. He actually goes for the freeze, which, if he got it and then it stayed for all these turns, he could have won if I didn't get a couple hits. I didn't get 3 hits with Water Shuriken, but yeah, I just won there. So that was my first ever Smogon Snake Draft win. And at this point, I'm a pretty damn well-known player, but Smogon Snake Draft ended up going 6-3 that year. Really great games. That was one of my breakout tournaments in SMOU, honestly, but unfortunately, we didn't make playoffs. We just missed out by the skin of our teeth, but that's okay. Kind of story of my life. Anyway, around that time, or a bit later, a couple months later, because this is late 2017, I got OU Forum Leader, because I got mods a bit after I got council, because I contributed to the forum, because my way of giving back and saying, hey, if you're going to put me on your council, then I want to do something to help the community. I'm not saying that everyone on council has to do that. A lot of people just want to play tournaments and help out in the tiering aspect. That's fine, but I wanted to contribute to the forum. So what happened was, as we're 26 minutes in already, holy crap, I did a lot. I got mods, and then I kept going with mods, and eventually I stood out enough to where Finchinator has been carrying the workload lately, and I haven't had the time to be an effective leader of the sub forum for a while. As such, he's your new OU forum leader alongside Bloods. Big ups, bud. And that was great. And that was like my start as being a big forum moderator. And then, yeah, I added people like Gmars and Colonel M, and eventually Leo, Team Pokepals, Indigo Plateau, etc. It was crazy because these guys are all developed, and not only in as mods and contributors, but also in tournaments. And just seeing this foundation that I helped build, and these guys helped build for me, it just shows the generations of Smogon contributors really unraveling in front of my eyes. And the fact that I got to experience this firsthand and be so involved is just amazing. And I couldn't be more appreciative of all these people that helped me along the way. But yeah, then the next SPL came around, and this time I managed. This is the only SPL I managed. I don't think I ever want to manage SPL again. But yeah, I retained my boys Donut and Pasha. This is right after Pasha won a Smogon Tour. I picked John Brofist, one of the best players of all time. And you don't know what I mean by that, then there's a video I did on the best players of all time on my channel from just before I blew up. Shout out PokeAim for that. Definitely check that out. I do a lot of high-level analysis in the video. I think it still has north of 1,000 views, so it's decent. But yeah, I picked a team, and we did pretty well. We actually were 1 game away from making playoff, but Manipulative, our UU player, ended up losing to a doubles player in the last week in UU, who didn't switch. It was a really humbling experience, to say the least. We threw away a lot of games that week. When we just needed 1 more to make playoff tiebreaker, 2 more to make playoffs. Yeah, that SPL haunts me. In general, 2017 into 2018, much didn't happen in that little 3-month period. But then I got super mods because I was doing really well as a forum leader and contributing to OU and NU a lot on council. And Finchinator has been engaging very thoughtfully and helpfully in site policy for ages now, and is a superb leader of the OU sub forum, one of the most active in the entire forum. He's got solid leadership style, which we think will be effective on senior staff. Congratulations. So yeah, it's been over 2 years now since I've been a super mod, meaning I'm a moderator of the entire Smogon forums, which is great. And people are like, yeah, he wasn't before. He's the most active person on Smogon. And yeah, these days I'm still one of the most active people on Smogon. The community means a ton to me. So big shout outs to that. But yeah, that was an amazing stepping stone for me as a contributor. And then World Cup shifted reasons because East was just ridiculously broken. So they shifted it to Northeast, which gave some people from Metro a chance to switch to jump to Northeast, but it also created South, which took away a lot of great people like the TDKs of the world, etc. And and I couldn't play for Central anymore because I didn't have that eligibility. Eligibility rules were new, and I've lived in New Jersey my whole life and went to school in New York, so I was on Northeast, and we ended up winning. Aim and I both won in finals. A lot of you guys came from Aim's channel. Shout out Joey. We've been collaborating a lot lately. Joey's a great friend of mine. I love him, and I love all the stuff he does. But I played Lax in the finals, and Lax nowadays is one of the best players, honestly. I played Black White All Tour. I went 4-2, although one of my losses was like a dumb game when we already won the playoff series, so I just reused the team, and I also got really unlucky. But yeah, that was one of my better tours as well. 4-2 could have been 5-1, and I'll just show you. He used Sunstall against me, and I used this kind of humble sand team, just fitting of my Black-White playstyle. Maybe a bit bulkier than normal, but yeah. And I was able to just roll over him, and we'll go up on fast here because it was against Lax. He just did have a great chance at the matchup after he didn't get a Scald burn on my Ferrothorn. I don't really love that the team relied on that, but yeah, that's kind of what you do with Sun here, and I just get my hazards up, and I power up, I miss, and then I knock him off, and then I'm able to get spikes up, and then I'll power up. He just never burns, but to be fair, I also missed the first whip, so like, you know, I think I was winning 1-for-1 anyway, but yeah, this just looked amazing, and then I couldn't really lose from here. I go Slowbro, and he's Magma Storm, which can break me, but I get a Thunder Wave on it, which is amazing, and I can slack all the way up. And yeah, and I just couldn't lose from here. I just suffocated the team with hazards up because the Tentacle was dead, and that was that pretty much. Trent can only do so much against me with hazards up and whatnot, eventually breaking the balloon and Gliscor just going off and whatnot. Sun is suffocated because you see he's at 51% already, so really can only switch in like 2 times all game to reset weather. And yeah, he even froze me, but again, I couldn't lose that game. So yeah, I'm just going to speed through it, but I won. We actually started these finals down 0-3, and then my game brought it to 4-3 when we tied up at 3-3 or made it 3-3, I don't know. But either way, we ended up winning. Well, we tied at 5-5, and then we lost the first tiebreak game. No, ABR won the first, then BKC lost to Lax again in the tiebreak, ironically enough. That game infuriated me. I kind of wish I was in Black-White, but BKC is like one of the all-time goats. We could not have benched him. But yeah, that was a really infuriating tiebreak experience. And then Brofist won the deciding game against Zamog for that tiebreak. It was amazing. Shout out Brofist for winning me my first and currently only Smogon trophy. That was amazing. So yeah, I won World Cup with Northeast. I carried my weight for sure because I won in playoffs, but also it was amazing the team with some of the best players like BKC himself, Brofist himself, and ABR, who also won a tiebreak against Lavos. And yeah, I just couldn't lose from there. He said, good game, man. And I won 5-0 in 62 turns. Definitely a lopsided matchup there. Lax couldn't really do much. And yeah, it was amazing. So we won World Cup, won by Northeast. And that was like my first trophy. It was amazing. And then later that year, in 2018, I actually made Grand Slam playoffs, which was really cool. I ended up losing to Harris's awesome round 1. It was like the only like noteworthy experience Harris has had. I love you, Harris, but man, kind of underachieved in SPL and shit. I'm not gonna lie, and Snake and shit. But he did end up getting a couple wins in his SPL, which is cool. But yeah, I misplayed Ubers. I just didn't know how to play Ubers at all, and he was really good at RU and UU at the time. So I fell short at 3-2. This year I'm gonna make Slam. I'm gonna win Slam. No bet. You already know. Anyway, so then I ended up making Smog on tour as well. I was actually the number 2 seed behind Tricking, ahead of a bunch of other people. And I beat Zukuru in the first round in Black, White, and SM pretty comfortably. And then in round 2, I actually defeated X-Ray in a really close 3-game set. X-Ray's a great player, a friend of mine. Definitely, you know, watch his replays if you want any Oros advice. He's amazing. And then the final 4 was me, WellLU, who I mentioned from the Snake game before, Zamog, and ABR. ABR lost to Zamog, a crazy upset, and I beat WellLU in a really amazing 3-game set. I used the stall team in Oros, which was fire, and I innovated Rest Zygarde in this SM game, which was one of the things that, in my opinion, pushed it over the edge at the end of the day and got banned a couple months later. So then I was against Zamog in finals, and in Black-White, I made a really amazing play where I hidden power iced into a heat train after I showed Encore and Protect, and I hit a Landorus T-Scarf because he figured he'd come in an Encore Focus Blast. But coupled, I lost the game because I missed a Focus Blast on a tire. I did 2 to be fair, and he crit my Rotom Wash, which tried to burn an Amoonguss, and that sucked. But then I got a bit lucky in Oros myself. A really sloppy game. He kind of threw that away, honestly, but I was able to come back, and in game 3, I fell short. It was a really hard matchup against Thunderous T, and I made an aggressive play that got punished with my Magirna against Next Year Drill, and finals that I was probably slightly favored in. I feel like I played pretty well in 2 games, and then really the 3rd game just kind of got away from me because hard matchup, and I was just kind of tilted at some stuff. That like set me into a bit of a spiral. I started off the next SPL 03, but then I ended up bringing it back to 4-3. But I finished 4-5 after getting really unlucky in the last week of the season. I also got really unlucky in the first couple weeks. But yeah, So it's pretty tilted. I'm sorry. I went for 23.5k and I didn't go positive. This is the first time up to that over a dozen plus official tournaments between World Cup, Snake, and SPL. I always went positive or neutral on all of them up to that, and then finally I went 4-5, and that killed me. Oh man, I was like really tilted at this point. But then real life actually started looking up for me. So it was actually 2019 was a pretty uneventful year until August when I got Never Used Cheerleader. Shout out Eternally, the code NU Cheerleader. But yeah, real life was still occupying me a ton through that Snake, and then I made Smog Tour playoffs a couple times in the meantime. As you can see here, I ended up beating Twixtree, and then I got kind of unfortunate in a series against Luigi in the next round. I mean, basically game one, Oras came down to a Combine War where I was 2 turns ahead of him coming in, and he ended up winning that, and then I won Black-White, and then in SM, I had to get like ridiculous, like amazing plays right in the SM game just because I couldn't beat his team with my team, unfortunately. And I honestly almost pulled it back. He made a really wonky couple of plays, but it worked out. And then Luigi ended up winning that Smogon Tour, so shout out Luigi. Really good tournament director and contributor, and he showed a lot of gutsy plays, even if he got pretty lucky against me and Solwind in the finals. Unfortunately, Solwind's kind of a little bit cursed there, not going to lie. I mean, Solwind is an amazing player, but fell short in a lot of finals. But yeah, I'm hopefully Solwind will win eventually. But yeah, Luigi won that Smog Tour after I lost in quarterfinals, and then this one against McMegan. This is when life started getting a lot less busy because a lot of stuff fell apart, a job offer, and a relationship broke up. So I was just kind of a mess at the time, and I went McMegan as the 1 seed, and I actually lost game 1, or McMegan played better than me. But then game 2 in SM, I had it won if I didn't get min damage, or I didn't get a couple misses and stuff against the Zapdos with the Z Rocklander ST, but he got everything and then some. I kind of called it the 1 in 100 type of game where you just kind of got to move on and be unfortunate about it and just, don't want to sob forever. So this is whatever. It sucked, but McMegan is kind of one of the people I idolize in Pokemon, and he still is a really amazing player. And he made it all the way to finals against ABR, and I mean, I can't help but think what if. And I mean, I also got unlucky against Corazon this past season, so I can't help but think what if. But hopefully I'll get to play ABR in an official tour finals this Smogon Classic. I win 2 more rounds, and he wins 3 more rounds, so here's hoping. But yeah, that was that. And then Generation 8 started right after this. Actually, right around then. And I mean, I was super active. I was the form leader. I was in charge, and I was posting everything. And then ABR at the start of Generation wanted to remove Sleep Clause, and Chaos kind of agreed to it. It's this whole controversy. Neither of them are really at fault for that. It was just a series of fringe miscommunications coupled with the fact that people didn't really have a great gauge on what perception was at the time. And ABR is a great contributor, and he was a good cheerleader, even if he was a bit too conservative for my taste. But ultimately, this caused him to step down just because he felt like he wasn't as in touch as cheerleader, and he just wanted to be in council and contribute. So he passed the baton to me. Arguably, I should have gotten it a couple years back when ABR got it. I think we should have been co-tier leaders, but ABR did represent the tier more back then. TDK made the right choice, don't get me wrong. They're trying to rub salt in that wound. But yeah, I got OU tier leader, so that is how the hell Finchinator got OU tier leader in the gist. But let's just get all up to the modern day, because this is November of last year. A lot has happened since then. I started getting big on YouTube in January, well, really in December. As I mentioned, stuff with life was starting to slow down, a lot of disappointing stuff. So instead of talking to certain people in real life that I could talk to, I actually started talking to you guys. And it actually became a really amazing and rewarding experience. And now even a profitable experience, just full disclosure, I am part of the partnership program on YouTube, as you see advertised on some of my videos, I'm sure. And it's been amazing building this community, though. There's a reason I don't have a Patreon. I'm like not trying to nickel and dime you guys. No. I love giving you guys team building advice. I love putting these resources out there. I love answering you guys in the comments or when you PM me on Discord and PS, and helping you guys with your teams and helping everyone get a little incrementally better each time and time again. And I feel like we're really making a difference here. And I think eventually there's going to be people that come from my channel that become, the next, tier leaders, council members, tournament players, etc. And it's an amazing feeling doing that. Sitting here at 2.55 subscribers with, thousands of views on these videos, as you can see here. And I just can't wait for more and more to come of this. I can't wait for this 2.55 to become 3.55, and then 5.55, and then 10.55, and so on and so forth. It's amazing. And the fact of the matter is that, yes, I'm one of the faces of Smogon. I mean, look, I've got 2 times the reaction score of anyone else. And look, I played in this past SPL, and I went 6-4 in Black-White. And look, I beat Tamahome, the best player in DPP of all time, and one of the best players of ADV in all time today in Classic. I did get lucky in DPP, but yeah, I've been around. I'm a strong tournament player. I'm a strong presence in the community. I'm a leader, but I can't do it without the support of you guys in the Smogon community. And the fact that I get that support is just amazing. So I want to conclude this little history video of all this time by saying thank you. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be doing this without all of you guys. Let me know your favorite part of this little history. And if you want me to do a little history of Smogon, kind of series of events, set of videos in the comment section below. And if you like this type of stuff, be sure to like. Again, comment, please comment. It means so much to me. And subscribe to the channel if you aren't. 40 to 45% of my viewers aren't subscribed despite watching regularly. It'd mean the world to me. You could consider subscribing. If you can't, that's fine. I'm not telling you what to do, but, you know, consider it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'm going to be putting up during the Smogon Charity Bowl tomorrow, which is going to be really quite hype, but I'm not going to have time to record tomorrow afternoon. So yeah, this is going up then. I'm recording it. It's 1:47 a.m. now, so gonna wrap things up. Thank you guys so much for watching me ramble for 41 minutes about my history playing competitive Pokemon. I know it's just a game. I know it's just a series of connected / unconnected stories, but I think it's really cool to put it in perspective, kind of give my history, give my story. So yeah, with that said, this is Finchinator. Have a great day, guys. If you're following the Smogon Charity Bowl, check out twitch.tv/SmogOnU or log on to smogtours.pcin.us to follow that. And keep watching my videos. So much more content's on the way, guys. All right, have a great day. Peace.